Good morning, students. In the last lecture of the operating system, we were discussed about the different file access methods that are used to access a particular file in the operating system. As well as we were discussed the term swapping, that means the swapping mechanism, swapping memory management is done and how the swapping is executed in the operating system. Now in this lecture we will see our next point, that is file allocation method. We know that the files are usually stored on a secondary storage devices such as disk. A file is nothing but a collection of data. File stores the information and that particular file is going to be stored on a secondary storage. That means we store a file in a hard disk. These files are then called back when needed, and as per the requirement, as per the user needs, we are accessing a files which are going to be stored on a secondary storage. That means as per the needed, the files are accessed. As a part of their implementation, files must be stored in a hard disk. This has to be done in such a way that the disk space is utilized effectively and the files can be accessed quickly. So there are three methods that are used for file allocation, that are continuous allocation, linked allocation and indexed allocation. By using these three methods, we are going to be manage the disk space. By using these three ways, we are allocating the files into a computer's memory location. First, we will see what is an exactly file allocation method is. The allocation method defines how the files are stored in a disk block. The file allocation method defines the how actually the files are going to be stored on a hard disk. There are three main disk space or file allocation method. There are three methods. That methods are used to allocate a file into a disk. First one is the continuous allocation, second one is the linked allocation and third one is the indexed allocation. The main idea behind this method is to provide efficient disk space utilization and fast access to the file blocks. By using the file allocation methods, file allocation mechanism, we are easily accessing the files that are stored in a memory block. And as well as the file allocation method provides the efficient disk space utilization. The disk here, by using this mechanism, we are effectively utilizing the provided disk storage. Let us see one by one these allocation methods in detail. First method is the contiguous allocation. In this scheme, each file occupies a continuous set of blocks on a disk. The name suggests that continuous allocation, that means in this scheme or in this mechanism, the file is going to be stored on a continuous blocks. In this scheme, so it tells that in this scheme, each file occupies a continuous set of blocks on a disk. For example, if a file requires n block and is given a block B as a starting location, then the block is assigned to a file will be B, then B plus 1, then B plus 2 up to B plus n minus 1. Suppose there is one file. For storing that particular file, we require n block. Then the block is, suppose the starting address of a block is B, then the 1 by 1 blocks is allocated to that particular file. That means first block is the B, second block is the B plus 1, next block is the B plus 2 until the last block, that means B plus n minus 1 block, the file is stored on a disk. That blocks are allocated to a particular file. This means that given the starting block address and the length of the file in terms of a block required, we can determine the blocks occupied by the file. That means the given starting block address, that means B address, and the length of the file. What is the length of file? How many blocks are required for that particular file? That is the length of that particular file. Suppose there is one file ABC, that file requires the n block, then n is the total length of that particular file. The directory entry for a file with continuous allocation contains, there are two attribute contains. First one is the address of starting block and second one is the length of the allocated portion. The directory entry, when we are going to be create or when we are going to store a particular file into a memory, then directory entry is created in a operating system. And that directory entry contains two fields. First one is the address of the starting block and second one is the length of the allocated portion. Let's take one example. See this example. See this example. In this example, the file mail in the following figure starts from a block 19 with length 6 blocks. Therefore, it occupies the location or it occupies the blocks, that is 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 blocks. See this example. In this example, here is an file directory. The directory stores the number of files that are allocated to a operating system block. The directory entry contains two attributes. First one is the file, here is an file name and each file having two attributes. First one is the starting address of that particular block and second one is the length. That means a size of that particular file. Suppose there is one first file, that is count file. Count file starting address is 0 and count file having a total length of 2. So here is an continuous allocation. Here in a continuous allocation from the starting address, the continuous blocks are given for a file. The continuous blocks are allocated to store any file into a operating system. The total length of a file count is 2. So the two continuous blocks are allocated to a file count, that is 0 and 1. Suppose there is another one file, tr file. The tr file starting address is 14 block and it having a length 3. So tr file start at the block 14 and it having a 3 size. So 14, 15 and 16 blocks are allocated to tr. Suppose there is another one file, mail file having a starting address 19 and which having a length 6. So the mail file requires the total 6 blocks for storing the file. So here is a mail file and mail file is stored at the location 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 and 24. Continuous 6 blocks are allocated to the file mail. In this way, the continuous allocation is done into the operating system. Let's see what are the advantages and disadvantages of the continuous allocation method. Both the sequential and direct access are supported for this. For direct access, the address of kth block of the file which starts at the block B can easily be obtained as B plus K. That means for the continuous allocation method, we are using the continuous allocation method supported by both access, that is sequential access and direct access. By using both way, we are accessing a particular defined block. And next advantage is this is extremely fast since the number of 6 are minimal because of continuous allocation of blocks. Because of suppose we are going to be stored a particular file into the operating system by using the continuous allocation, there are continuous blocks are allocated to that particular file. So when we are going to be, or when we want a particular block, when we want a particular file, then minimum 6 are required. Next, what are the drawbacks? What are the disadvantages of this method? This method suffers from both internal and external fragmentation because of we are creating a continuous sequence of blocks. This makes inefficient in terms of memory utilization because some free blocks are present in a continuous allocation. And next one is the increasing the file is difficult because it depends on the availability of continuous memory as per a particular install. Suppose in this case we want to store a 10, suppose any file requires a 10 continuous block. The total size of a particular file is 10. So in this situation, this method provides not a efficient way because it is not possible that 12 continuous blocks are available in this case, because here the blocks are scattered. Okay, these are the advantages and disadvantages of this continuous allocation method. Let's see second method, that is linked list allocation. In linked list allocation, that means here a one linked list is created. Here we know that in linked list a node is linked with another node by using a one link. In this scheme, each file is linked list of a disk block which need not be continuous. The disk blocks can be scattered anywhere on the disk. The directory entry contains a pointer to a starting and ending file of a block, and each block contains a pointer to the next block occupied by the file. Let's see one example. Here is an linked list allocation. Okay, suppose the file zip in a following image shows how the blocks are randomly distributed. The last block 25 contains -1 indicating a null pointer and does not point to any other block. Let's see the example. There is one file zip. Okay, and starting address of a zip file is 9 and ending address of a zip file is 25. So from starting 9 block, the file is allocated in a scattered by using a scattered block. First block of a file is 9th number block. First 9, second 16, next 1, next 2, and last block is 25. Up to 25 here in these blocks the zip file contents are stored, and the last block contains a -1. -1 indicates the null pointer. That means here the file is completed. Okay. That means, in short, in a linked list allocation, there is a no continuous file allocation is occurred. The scattered blocks are allocated by using a linked list. Okay, here is an, so consider here is an one file zip. We want to store the zip file into the operating system. What is the starting address of the zip file? 9. So here is an first pointer, here is an at the 9th block, here is that pointer, next 16, next 1, next 2, up to whole file is stored, and up to whole file is completed, the blocks are allocated, and the last block is indicated by -1. That means -1 indicates the null pointer. That means here file is completed. And the directory entry points to the starting address and ending address of the block. These are the intermediate blocks that are interconnected via linked list. Let's see what are the advantages and disadvantages of this method. This is very flexible in terms of size. Okay. Then next, the file size can be increased easily since system does not have to look for a continuous chunk of memory, because here by using this method we are stored a file in a different blocks, different scattered blocks, and by using this method user does not suffer from a external fragmentation. External fragmentation does not occur in this case. Next, what are the disadvantages of this method? Because the file blocks are distributed randomly on the disk, a large number of 6 are needed. 6 means accessing 6 are needed to access every block individually. Okay, one by one we are accessing a random block, so here the number of 6 are increases. Then this makes linked allocation slower. Okay, and it does not support random or direct access because there is one linked list present between each block, and we cannot directly access the block of a file. A block K of a file can be accessed by traversing K block in a sequential access from the starting block of a file via block pointers. Okay, when we want to read a contents one by one, then via pointer we are reading a contents from a one after another block. These are the advantages and disadvantages of the linked list method. Then last method is the indexed allocation method. In this scheme, a special block known as the index block, which contains a pointer to all of the blocks occupied by the file, and each file has its own index block. The ith entry in the index block contains the disk address of the ith file block, and the directory entry contains the address of the index block as shown in the following figure. In a indexed file allocation, there is one special block. That block we called as a index block, and that index block contains the address. It contains the pointers to the occupied file block. Okay, suppose there is one file zip and the directory entry contains only the index block address. Okay, there is one file zip and direct index block of that particular zip file is 19. That means in a 19 block all the index record is stored. That index block contains the pointers to the all the blocks which is occupied by that particular file. Okay, that means this is an index block for the file zip, and this index record contains the entry for 1, 10, 9, 16 and 25, because in these blocks the records of a jeep is stored. Okay, this is indexed allocation. Like our book index, see your book index. Book index contains two attributes, your point name, and in front of that point there is a page number. And whenever you want a particular point description, then you directly jump on that particular page number. Same way, in a index allocation there is one special block, that is index block, like your index page of a book. Okay, and according to the index block, according to the index entry, you are accessing a contents of a file. Suppose you want a file, or you want to allocate a file Jeep, and what is the index block, what is the index entry for that particular Jeep file? 19. There is a 19 file. That 19 file contains all the pointers of the block in which block that particular file is stored. That 19 block contains the entry of all the blocks where that particular file is stored. This is indexed allocation. Then what are the advantages and disadvantages of the index allocation? First, see what is the advantage. This supports direct access to blocks occupied by a file and therefore provides a fast access to a file blocks. Like take an example of your book. By using a book index, you are fastly accessing the contents of that particular file. Suppose you want a particular point in the book, then you are searching that particular point in a book index, and according to that index page number, you are directly jumping on that particular page, book page. Like same way here, according to the index, we are accessing a file contents. So this is a very fast and efficient method. It overcomes the problem of external fragmentation. But what is the drawback of this system or this method? The pointer overhead for index allocation is greater than a linked allocation. Here we want to add one extra function, that is a pointer. Here a pointer overhead for indexed allocation is greater than linked allocation. Okay. For every small blocks, say files that expand only 2 to 3 blocks, the indexed allocation would keep one entire block, that is index block, for a pointers which is insufficient terms of memory utilization. In this scheme, we want to keep one block for storing the index record of that particular file. So it is not insufficient in the terms of memory utilization, because here we want to keep one extra block for storing all the index entries. This is a indexed allocation. Okay. In today's lecture, we were seeing that the file allocation method. The file allocation method defines how the files are stored in a disk block. There are 3 disk allocation methods that are used in a operating system, that are continuous allocation, linked allocation, and indexed allocation. Okay, this is an continuous allocation. In this, the continuous blocks are made available for storing a file. Then second one is the linked list allocation. In a linked list allocation, one linked list is created for storing a file. In a linked list, there are 2 entries in a directory, that is a starting address of a block, and second one is the last, that means ending address of a block. And the ending address of a block contains a -1 value, because -1 denotes the null pointer to that particular file. Okay, and last one is the indexed allocation. In a indexed allocation, there is one index block and which contains the pointers to all of the remaining blocks occupied by that particular file. These are the three methods that are used for used for file allocation in the operating system. Okay, thank you.